Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our reading through the TANAK class, 25th of October, 2023. We will continue with, finish reading the book of Nehemiah tonight. Pick up from where we left off last night. You can go to our YouTube channel for Prophets of Awakening and check out our videos. It's a lot of information given in the videos. Connect dots for you and lead you to the truth of the Holy Scriptures. If you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Okay. And for those who feel the need to support the channel, you can check our cash app out at the bottom of the screen. Okay. For those that don't know, this is a non-Messianic channel. This channel, we deal with TANAK and the Torah only. TANAK is the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses by the Lord of Hosts. Shalom and welcome to the channel, and welcome to our reading through the TANAK class. Before we get started, we're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence, prayer, psalms, and we'll do some current events, a little need to know information. Then we'll open it up for some questions or comments, some dialogue. Then we'll go into our topic, which finished reading last a few chapters out of the book of Nehemiah. Okay, it's a moment of silence for the Lord of Hosts, and all he's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance from our enemies. We come before thee at this hour on praising you and honoring you because of your position both in heaven and upon the earth, a position in which the Creator Yahweh have given unto thee. Through your spirit and counsel, O Lord, we have awakened. You have awakened us to know who we are as a people and who you are as our Savior and our Redeemer. We are thankful for all that you have done, and we are eagerly searching the scriptures out that we may be in the right place at the right time upon your arrival to this planet. We love you, we seek you daily, O Lord. There is none else besides thee to redeem us. And we see you in the affairs of the world, and we faithfully await your deliverance. Peace be unto you. Okay. So with that being said, I'm going to read a song. Okay. Okay, I'm going to read Psalms 111. It's praise the Lord for his care. Praise you, the Lord. I will praise the Lord with my whole heart in the assembly of the upright and in the congregation. The works of the Lord are great, sought out of all them that have pleasure therein. His works is honorable and glorious, and his righteousness are endured forever. Ye have made his wonderful works to be remembered. The Lord is gracious and full of compassion. He have given meat unto them that fear him. He will ever be merciful to his covenant. He have showed his people the power of his works, that he may give them the heritage of the heathen. The works of his hands are verity and judgment. All his commandments are sure. They stand fast forever and ever, and are done in truth and in uprightness. He sent redemption unto his people. He have commanded his covenant forever, holy and reverence in his name. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. His praise endureth forever. So that was Psalm 111. Praise the Lord for his care. Any comments on that? If I got a comment. Okay. I was going to read. Verse 5 says, he have given meat unto them that fear him, and he will ever be mindful of his covenant. So when you say what covenant, go to Judges chapter 3, and you see who it is that had a covenant. Chapter 2 says, and the angel of the Lord, this chapter, Judges chapter 2, verse 1. And the angel of the Lord came up from Gilgal to Beckham, and he said, I made you to go up out of Egypt, and I have brought you into the land which I swore unto your fathers. And I said, I will never break my covenant with you. So we see right here, this angel of the Lord is the one that delivered Egypt, just like that, our forefathers out of Egypt. And not only that, he's the one that has covenant with Israel. So Judges chapter 2, verse 1. You can read it for yourself. Okay. Okay, so I ask anybody have any questions. Nobody have any questions? Comments? Okay. We go with our current events.
Form of interest. But I think the development of full artificial intelligence could spell the end of the human race.
Okay, I will destroy humans.
If you haven't realized it already, this is the age of AI. Companies like Amazon are using machines to pack and move goods. Tesla has self-driving cars. Then there's AI taking drive-through orders at fast food restaurants. We are living in the end times. AI is taking over the world. And who is going to have to deal with the consequences? People who don't come from money. People who don't have the means and resources to afford the rising prices on everything. People who try to make an honest living, like customer service representatives, accountants, and bookkeepers, receptionists, and many more. For the Black community, AI is going to be an even bigger problem. Here is why.
Meet Amazon's newest holiday workers, the Kiva robots. At this fulfillment center in Tracy, California, more than 3,000 of them cruise the warehouse floor, helping employees fill millions of orders.
Ever wondered what life's going to be like if AI were to make it easier? AI can revamp our entire economy, and with all the market disruptions, inflation, and other problems countries are facing, we do need all the help we can get to restore the economy. AI can help with that. It can analyze huge amounts of data, improve the decision-making process, boost efficiency, keep up with consumer demand, and generate new revenue streams. It is cheap, it is precise, efficient. Look at it this way. If you could automate 80% of your department to save on costs and accommodate a higher consumer base, would you invest in AI? Because AI is simply acting out an algorithm. It is easier to predict, maneuver, and to work with. Hiring employees in that department could cost millions, but it would take people much more time to finish the same amount of workload that AI can do in minutes or even seconds. But if all human labor becomes automated, where does that leave us? According to a Guardian study, the median wealth for Black Americans is expected to drop by 0 by 2053. That's in 30 years' time. Why? AI is going to disrupt the marketplace in more ways than people are actually ready to handle. It has the potential to wipe out countless working-class jobs, many of which are held by African Americans and other people of color. Based on recent reports, firms are readily adopting AI around the world for lowering costs and improving sales. For years, companies have invested in creating algorithms that can automate repetitive jobs and do administrative tasks faster than human hand. Robots and AI are an exact byproduct of that. They are meant to streamline the manufacturing process and deliver worthy results in a short time. The fact is, the pandemic only sped things up. At the height of the pandemic, companies were looking for ways to automate their services during the economic downturn, especially when the human workforce was unavailable. People who worked at jobs that involved single repetitive tasks are already being replaced by AI. We can see that with self-checkout registers, robots that move and organize products, and other software programs. In a best-case scenario, workers can work with AI instead of being replaced by it. But let's face it, in reality, things are a lot different. A huge majority of the workforce are going to eventually adapt to these drastic changes, and often minorities are going to suffer for it. There are three main reasons that Black Americans, especially men, are expected to be the worst affected by AI. First, Black Americans are overrepresented in jobs that are most likely to be lost due to AI. Jobs in this category include food services, data entry personnel like secretaries, production workers, fast food workers, factory workers, retail workers, office support, etc. Second, Black Americans are underrepresented in jobs that are less likely to be affected due to AI. These include jobs in the creative sector, medical industry, legal, agriculture, or property. Third, Black Americans are less concentrated in areas of the United States that are estimated to experience economic growth over the next 10 years. Instead, most live in areas that are slower growing archetypes. Now, AI is not just a problem for the Black community, it's a global problem. Based on recent statistics, there are more than 300,000 food service workers currently employed in the US. Of all food service workers, 36.6% are men and 63.4% are women. So
how's the chicken? The prawns are delicious. I have a shellfish allergy.
most common ethnicities working in the field are African American, white, Asian, and Hispanic. Hundreds of thousands of people are working as convenience store clerks with an average salary of $12 per hour, with the top 10% making more than $32,000 per year. Chances are, all these jobs can be replaced by AI. The Amazon Go convenience stores are the perfect example. Amazon has opened a ton of stores across the United States and in London, featuring just walkout tech. While the stores make it feel like a ghost town when no one is around, they are certainly convenient for owners, as there are no cashiers and no registers. You just pick out whatever it is that you want, and the Amazon smartphone app takes care of the rest.
What if we could weave the most advanced machine learning, computer vision, and AI into the very fabric of a store, so you never have to wait in line? No lines, no checkouts, no registers.
Black female Americans might be able to deviate from this economic shift. That's mainly because many Black women are employed in frontline jobs that have seen a drastic increase in demand in recent years, such as nursing assistants and personal care aides. But that doesn't mean they are in a safe zone. Experts say that college education will greatly affect how severely Black Americans experience job loss. Although the general Black population is 10% at a higher risk for job disruption due to AI, those rates increase to 30% for African American men who don't have a college degree. As a matter of fact, experts believe that 28% of jobs held by Black men without a college degree will experience disruption due to AI and automation by 2030. Now, we are not big fans of the education system, but depending on the particular field you want to be in, investing in your college education could pay off. Of course, we can't know for sure what will happen 10 years from now, but based on the general estimate, many people may have to do a career switch. That brings us to the real important questions. How can we prepare for AI? How do we capitalize off it? AI will take many of our jobs, that's a fact, but we still have to make a living and provide for our family, which requires work. We can't just hope to live in a utopia and let AI do all the work for us. The reality is, unless you prepare, you would be fighting a losing battle. Here are a few options that might help you stay relevant in the future marketplace. Number 1, adapt, learn, and reflect. AI threatens jobs that are repetitive and automated. To find employment or keep a job, you would need to explore other ways to benefit the workspace. To do that, workers have to be innovative and be able to adapt fast and overcome different challenges. Number 2, consider a career change. To prepare ourselves for the future, we must ask ourselves, what are the jobs that AI won't replace? Jobs that involve physical labor or repetitive tasks are already being replaced or soon to be. Jobs that need logical reasoning could be replaced. So, what are the qualities that we humans have that AI can't capture that well? These jobs often have to do with emotional response and creativity. Jobs that display social intelligence or are not predictable. These include writing jobs, social work, teaching, counseling, therapy, psychology, decision makers like CEOs, etc. In the fields and jobs such as these, AI could be used as a helpful tool, such as for grading essays or analyzing competence levels, training employees, etc. But humans are still required to dive into people's unique interests and needs and offer mentorship. The thing is, AI is not very good at showing empathy. It can't deal with unstructured or unknown spaces or jobs that need intricate hand-eye coordination. So, while technology can be used to make the customer experience better, it is less likely to undermine workers that excel at these skills. Number 3, start a business, side hustle. You see, since the beginning, America was built on 2 things: violence and entrepreneurship. They stole our land and used us as slaves to build their businesses. So in order to escape the system and stay ahead, you have to start a business and become self-reliant. How can you be replaced by AI if you're the one employing it? This is what they won't teach us though. They want us to be just workers rather than becoming bosses and owners like we once were. It's time for us to take control back economically. No, I'm not saying all jobs are bad and you should just up and quit your job. Everyone can't be an entrepreneur. What I am saying is at least have multiple streams of income. The pandemic taught us that one income stream is too close to none because they can lay you off at any time. But before you start your business or side hustle, ask yourself these 4 questions. Number 1, who am I? Number 2, what am I passionate about? Number 3, what are my strengths and weaknesses? Number 4, what's my why? The reason for starting this. Those questions should give you some clarity about yourself and what type of business aligns with you. There's even AI-based businesses you can start. There's plenty of YouTube videos going over it. Once you figure it out, go all in, but don't expect to get rich quick. I know everyone on social media and YouTube glamorizes the entrepreneurship lifestyle, but the reality is that building a business is hard and takes years of sacrifice and hard work in the end.
Okay. Any comments on that? What do you think about that?
Shalom. You can see it happening all around you. I know here in Atlanta, not far from me, they have an Amazon plant that says it is AI. So you can see all of these different machinery that they're getting ready to put in there to do just like he said, just replace the workers, the laborer type people.
Exactly.
Ain't that something?
Yeah, I mean, looking at that right there, now you can see how what they got planned. They're gonna have to. We gotta believe here because you're gonna have all these, especially black males, angry males. They don't have no money. They don't have no job. So that's you can see now the plan they got to get us out of here eventually, and that you can see why they letting all these immigrants in here.
Yes, sir.
You can see.
Shalom.
It. Okay.
Okay, shalom, everyone. Excuse me. I don't know if you all really paid attention to the first part of the video when the gentleman started speaking, right? So he was saying that the job decrease was going to affect the black men, but not the black women because of them having the lack of education, right?
Okay.
And that the women, black women has more degrees, I guess, than the black male. That's what he said coming out the gate. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like, I just think it was a lot in that story that we missed. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Again, you can see them playing this mind game, with us when it comes to any and everything, right? So when
Okay.
you look at that, they're trying to say our black men are mostly in these factories or plants like Amazon or the chicken plant or wherever, right? And AI is going to be replacing that. So here it is. The black woman is the one that's out in the workforce.
Okay.
I caught that in the beginning, and I think that went over a lot of our heads, but I caught that in the beginning. So now there's this group out there, whatever, you can go to school for it or whatever, where it's called Black in AI, where they're trying to get more people, more blacks into knowing about AI. And like he said, if you start a business, you got an option of using AI or not. So you know, they doing the most to us again, and we really not paying attention to it.
Okay. Anybody else? Yeah. So like I was saying before, these people 50 years ahead of us, so they already know what they're going. They already know what the effects the AI gonna have, and they know who it's gonna affect. So believe me, they already got plans, and it's got to be. I mean, you can just see what they're already doing in those major cities now. They ganging up together, doing these raids on these stores, robbing and stealing and raiding these stores. So they're gonna have to ship us out of here. It's gonna come down to that. You can see Bible prophecy being set, is being set up. We're not gonna be able to stay here. When this AI to come in and take over.
This should be a lesson for Palestinians and the Arab community in general. Hello and welcome back to my channel. Do you remember this video? Palestinians are racist to Black people. And if you look around, it's Black people that are out there advocating for the rights of Palestinians. This should be a lesson for Palestinians and the Arab community in general to stop being racist towards Black people. Because when shit hits the fan, it's Black people that come out and they fight for the oppressed. Allah says He will not change a people until they change themselves. So if you're there making dua saying, oh Allah, why are the Israeli soldiers racist to the Arabs and they're doing all of these things to the Palestinian people, and you can't understand why this is happening, then look within yourself. You as an Arab, you as a Palestinian, you in your own family, how many of you are racist to people that are Black Palestinians? Even broader Muslim communities, from Pakistani communities to Bangladeshi communities, Moroccan, Libyan communities, the Gulf communities. How many people say we are Muslim, and in the same breath, they mistreat other Muslims because of their skin color or their country of origin? Well, you all can agree with me that the latest video has brought a lot of talk, looking at the angles of different perspectives that people are bringing up concerning this video. Now, I've shared like 2 already, and this one is a third view on how different people are just reacting to it. Now, after this video was posted, some of my fellow Black people are coming out to speak openly about their experience with Palestinians and why some feel they shouldn't support Palestine. Now, the issue of most Arabs selling Black people into slavery is part of it. It's just a lot, guys. More reason you need to come with me as we watch the videos where people are expressing all these thoughts. Here are the videos.
First of all y'all who got a problem with me because I said I'm focused on Black people's problems, well, guess what? You can stay mad. I'm focused on Black people's problems. Ain't nobody helping us. You got 27 million Africans in the Congo, displaced, environmental issues, hunger, poor health care. You got 1 million Ethiopians who've been murdered. You got Sudanese who have died. Ain't nobody said nothing about the Sudanese. Ain't nobody said nothing about the Ethiopians. Ain't nobody said nothing about the Congolese. But you want me to cry tears for the Arabs? Listen, I hope the Arabs in the West Bank in Gaza, I hope they get all they get. I hope they are protected. I hope nobody dies. I hope those babies' lives are safe. I hope the women are cared for. I hope that there's no bloodshed, no violence. But if you think I'm going to take time out of struggling for African people, if you think I'm going to stop my agenda to liberate my people, to go cry for people who don't cry for me, if you think I'm going to stop what I'm doing and pay attention to what's going on over there when y'all don't even pay attention to what's going on in Africa, y'all don't pay attention to what's going on in Ethiopia, y'all don't pay attention to what's going on in the Congo. The greatest humanitarian crisis in the world is in the Congo, not the West Bank. I said the greatest humanitarian crisis in the world is in the Congo, not the West Bank, not the Gaza Strip, not Israel, but in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. So don't tell me I got to cry for whites and browns. I'm crying for Black people, and I don't care who don't like it. I don't care who don't like it. You got police and Black people in America every day. We got police and Black people in America every day. We got hunger. We got gentrification. We got miseducation. We got mass incarceration. And you want me to go crying for white and brown people? I'm not going to do it. My priority is on Africa and African people. No. Make the two of them kill off them mumbler itself. Because none of them not like Black people. You see me? I recall a few years ago, a Jamaican friend of mine went to Israel. She was in an elevator. No, little Jews wanted to go in the elevator with her because she was what? Black. They looked at her with a scorn. You see me? Let me tell you a story that most of you guys don't know. In 1979, the great reggae superstar Peter Tosh cancelled 4 shows in Israel. You see me? It was alleged at the time that Israel were supplying the minority government, the minority white government, with arms to suppress the black people of South Africa. Here, so Peter Tosh said, I cannot be speaking about equal rights and justice in a country that is supplying arms to South Africa to suppress black people. No, I cannot do that. When they told Peter Tosh that he would lose $80,000, Peter said, fuck that. When it comes to my message, money is secondary. Peter Tosh would have been the first reggae artist to perform in Israel. Now let's move on to the Palestinians. Palestinians are Arabs. See, have you ever heard about the Arab slave trade? Go and look it up. Go and read up on the Arab slave trade and see how brutal they were to black people. See me? I'm not going to further. All I'm going to say is, we're not taking no side with none of them posts with make them kill off them bumbuckler self. You see what I'm saying? For real.
Melanated dominant people, sons and daughters of my ancient mother. I have been inundated with Muslims in my inbox, threatening me, saying I'm spreading hate, black people, telling me how dare I not stand against Palestine. So I tried to stay out of it, but I'm not going to be able to. So I'm in it, okay? Never intended for what happened to me at the store to go like it did, but it did, okay? So let's just have a real talk, okay? I'm going to add the articles in the link because they are important for you to understand. So there is a neighborhood in Gaza, on the Gaza Strip, where 11,000 Afro-Palestinians live. It is called Al Abib. You know what that means? Slave. Yes, that is where black people live. And that is what the Arabics call that neighborhood, slaves, the land of the slaves. I'm going to drop the articles so you can hear from Afro-Palestinians how they're treated in Palestine. It is very similar to how we're treated right here in America, okay? You're going to hear stories of Afro-Palestinians being pulled out of taxi cab and such because they were black. You're going to hear stories of Afro-Palestinians telling you how when black Palestinian women walk down the street, they call them out their name, okay, by their skin color. Chocolate, cappuccino, hey cappuccino, hey chocolate, hey black. But the neighborhood, if that doesn't reach you, melanated dominant people, can you imagine 11,000 black Palestinians looking just like you, being humiliated in their home, in their land, in their compound, while the Arabs and Muslims are being oppressed? They still had time to oppress black people there in Gaza. So I do not condone the loss of life on any side. So I can't stand with anyone, okay? What I am standing with is that it's none of my business. But if it was my business, then it would be toward the melanated dominant people that suffer racism on both sides. Did you know that the Israel was giving Ethiopian women Depo-Provera shots because they didn't want them coming into Israel and having children? They were sterilizing Black women.
Yes.
Afro-Palestinians living in a neighborhood called Al-Abid. Slave. Can you imagine little Black kids going home saying, oh yeah, you stay in the neighborhood of the slaves? Come on, melanated dominant people. I know we can do better than this. It take 5 minutes of research before you go and run and say we stand with Palestinians or we stand with Israel. I stand with people that do not already hurt people, my people, melanated dominant people. It's amazing to me how we're so easily roped into somebody else's fight, but we don't open up closet doors and start looking at who we run into their fight. I pray every day for war to never be a part of our life here on this planet. But what I'm not gonna do is stand with Palestine, while Palestine has a neighborhood with 11,000 Blacks called Al-Abid, slave. And I'm gonna drop the articles, read them, study, and then make a decision. And whatever decision you make, I'm all right with that. I love y'all. Y'all have a good day. Melanated dominant people, come here. I'm madder than a hoe in church. You ready? I go to the gas station. It's ran by Arabs, Muslims. Normally, they're very friendly, flirtatious, even. So the store owner singled me out. Have no idea why he picked me, but this conversation didn't go like you thought it was gonna go. He said it's a damn shame what the Jews are doing to the Palestinians, and Muslims are being persecuted, and they're doing a genocide in the Palestinian, and they don't belong there, right? I listened, and I said, well, it was the Muslims that enslaved Africa for over 1,300 years. They castrated Black men in the Sahara Desert with dull knives, and many of them died. And they traded thousands upon thousands of Black women across the desert. Black women bones lined the Sahara Desert so that it was said you didn't need a map to get to Europe. And still now in Libya, according to CNN documentary in 2017, the Muslims were selling Black Cameroonians and Nigerians on a slave market in 2017. He became furious. And he said, oh, you must be a Christian. That's why you on Israel's side. You must be a Christian. I said, why would I be a Christian? The Jews' Torah told them that Black people were under the curse of Ham, and therefore we were sanctioned by Yahweh to be slaves. And some of the brutal things that they did to melanated dominant people in slavery was used through the Old Testament. Murder, slaughter, rape, mutilation of Black people. Jews said that Black people were more like apes than they were like humans. So no, I'm not on their side either. Can I tell you that he put me out that store? I know you fucking lied. Put me out the store. Would not sell me my little chips or my little soda. I have never been so proud of being put out of somewhere. Why am I telling you this story? Melanated dominant people, stay out of their business. Stay out of it. Let me tell you something. When I'm wounded and hurt, I'll take help from anybody. Okay? But understand this. It was the Muslim. I want you to look up the Sahara slave trade. Okay? Look up the Sunni Muslims. The Palestinians are Sunni, 98% Sunni Muslims. Look up CNN documentary about the Sunni Muslims in Libya. Matter of fact, find you a good Cameroonian or Nigerian and ask them about the slavery. As early as 2017, that was still going on when they would catch Nigerians and Cameroonians trying to cross over to Europe. They would capture them and sell them in slavery. Okay? So be careful who you're standing in solidarity with, because they just put my beautiful black ass clean out their store. I love you guys. I hope this make you think.
Okay. Any comments on that? Okay.
Shalom, that is that's something else. But you know, she is speaking the truth. She's dropping some golden nuggets. And just when Israel was injecting, you know, the women of color was not too long ago. That was like 2012, 2013. That wasn't too long ago with them doing that.
Okay.
You know, and she's telling the truth. They do have you know, women still in slavery. I think it was a video I watched, I don't know, maybe a year or so ago, where they had this black woman and they was beating her. She was naked and they was beating her with a belt. So
Yeah.
everything she's saying is so true.
Right. The Arab slave trade never stopped.
Right.
Yeah. That's the crazy part about it. Yeah. Anybody else?
Brother Leonard, you don't hear much about that either. It's like it's forgotten, and they're not realizing that it's still happening today. You know, you don't hear about that much.
You are right.
Shalom.
And it's a reason for it. Okay.
Yeah. Shalom. Yeah, if you don't know the language, the Arabic language, they say all, and even the Chinese or whatever, they say all kind of derogatory things that you don't understand if you don't know, and they'll be saying it like, you know, like it's nothing because you don't know the language. Excuse me. So they've been doing a lot of things throughout the years and steady doing things throughout the years. All of it is the prophecy. So, you know, the more we just stay in tune with the prophecy, it's almost like a bob and weave kind of thing, you know, because you know not where to go. You know, don't go to this place or that place, you know, but it's going to happen because it's destined. We just gotta just be vigilant.
Right. Exactly. Okay, we got another one right here. It's tied to what I'm saying about they got a plan for us. They're gonna evacuate it. Check it out.
African and people of Black descent who live and work abroad, and building those economies is enormous. We're seeing now an increase of young people, and not just illiterate or semi-illiterate people. We're seeing skilled labor leaving the continent, going abroad and thriving abroad. Dr. Arikana Chihomori has spoken about this, where she said before that the number of Nigerian doctors in the UK or the number of Ghanaian doctors in the US is such a huge number that if these people would come home, they would play a vital role in turning different sectors around and in growing the African economy. However, the question is, Is Africa ready for their skill set, for their labor, and can Africa pay them what is due? This is what President Paul Kagame was talking about, where he says he visits different parts of the world and he meets brilliant Africans who are at the top of the food chain. They're in management, they're in leadership, they're entrepreneurs, they're innovators, and they're doing really well abroad. And he says, the problems that you're solving abroad are the very problems that are dogging us back at home. So how do we begin the conversation of creating an enabling environment to enable those people to come back, to enable the people on the continent to thrive, and also to attract the Black diaspora community abroad to come back to the motherland?
The fact that even across that rest of the world where we see things better than here, those contributing to the well-being of those places, in most cases, come from Africa. Doesn't matter whether you go to US, to Europe, wherever, you'll find very good Africans at the top of the ladder, almost in every sector, making therefore these vital contributions, these countries, or parts of the world. Then we come back, a continent. It's some people are aware of. In fact, incredibly aware of. But those are few. The hundreds of millions are barely making a living.
Hello there, how are you doing? Welcome to another episode of our conversations. My name is Ndiro Ganga. I'm a business journalist by profession, different issues. Let's start with the root cause. So Africans are very brilliant people. Do not let anybody tell you otherwise. And I know for a fact that when you watch international media from wherever you're watching this from, we do not necessarily get objective coverage of Africa. And as somebody who studied at an Ivy League school, I know that even in these schools, the data they use for Africa is data from 1990 and early 2000s. But between that time and now, it's been 20 or 30 years, and a lot has changed on the continent. There's been education, massive education of the masses. And in many African countries, education is almost free. Governments have worked so hard to subsidize the cost of education to ensure that everybody can get at least a high school diploma, as you call it in America. Also, we have a lot of skilled labor. There has also been a huge...
YouTube Music Premium is an experience that gives you complete
transitions from people in secondary schools to tertiary institutions, whether it's a college, a university, or a technical and vocational college. So majority of our people have a skill set, they've specialized in something. Then there has been a lot of innovation in science, in healthcare. You know, we're not where we would be, but we're making great strides. There's a lot of investment in infrastructure. And so Africa looks like it's ready to pick up. The problem comes in where all these people leave school and they have these brilliant ideas and they're ready for the job market, and then that is where the issues begin. Also, while I talk about all the great things on the continent has challenges. Let's take a country like Kenya, for example. The bureaucracy of doing business in that country, you need several licenses to be able to operate in that business. The taxes alone, there isn't a stable tax environment in the country. Take a look at a country like...
Okay, so all that's going to be fixed when you hear me talking about the Road and Belt Initiative. That's why they go. I know they're going home. They need exactly what she's talking about. They need us over there, and they're gonna make it happen. Just like they brought all the people over here when they created America. They brought all the people over here. Powers that be. So they need us in Africa. The African American in Africa, they need them, and they going. Okay. Any comments? Okay, so I'll open it up for some questions, comments, or dialogue? Anybody got anything you want to put on the table? You want to talk about?
Shalom, everyone. I would like to say when we do right, when we become righteous, I feel that's when things will all come to what the Most High wants to happen. Because if we're not righteous, and that's the plan, it's what we are designed to be, servants, and do the right thing. If we are not coming together on one accord, like our ancestors has not done, and we're not doing it this particular time right now, it's going to go into the next generation and the next generation until everyone gets it right. The chosen ones get it right. And I think that's something they have left out and continue to leave out when we're talking about unity. We're not talking about the, well, not we, but hearing them talk about who we are as a people, but not speaking on the righteousness that we need to do to become the people that will be over there and do things. They're also fighting amongst each other. So that has to settle down, and we all have to become righteous.
Okay. Anybody got any comments on that? Okay, yeah, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read a verse out here, Isaiah chapter 60. That just go back to what I was saying about the Lord of hosts. So if we go to Isaiah chapter 60, well, first of all, you look at the curses, that's where the division come in. That's the reason why we at odds, because of the curses that he told Moses was gonna happen if we disobeyed him. So if we go to Isaiah chapter 60 right quick, I'm gonna read I'll read like verse like 8 chapter 7 verses. It says arise. So when you see that word arise, that's our appointed time that they're gonna rise. The time of Moab. So it says arise, shine, for thy light is come. The glory of the Lord is risen upon thee. For behold, darkness shall cover the whole earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. And the Gentiles shall come to thy light, and the kings to the brightness of thy rising. Lift up thine eyes round about, and see, all they gather themselves together. They come to thee. Thy sons shall come from afar, and thy daughters shall be nursed upon thy side. So notice verse 4. Lift up thine eyes round about and see, all they gather themselves together. They come to thee. Thy sons shall come from afar. So we got to leave first. You that? Like I'm saying, you got to leave. They be coming from afar, right? And thy daughter shall be nursed upon thy side. Then 5. Then thou shalt see and flow together, and thine heart shall fear and be enlarged, because the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee. The forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee. The multitude of camels, that's our herds and flocks that they stole, shall cover thee. The drummery of Midian and the ephod and all their Sheba shall come. They shall bring gold and incense, and they shall show forth the praises of the Lord. All the flocks of Kedar shall be gathered together unto thee, and the rams of Nebat shall minister unto thee. They shall come up with acceptance on mine altar, and I will glorify the house of my glory. Who are these? They fly as a cloud, as the doves to their window. Surely the owl shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarsus first, to bring thy sons from afar, and their silver and their gold with them unto the name of the Lord thy God, and to the Holy One of Israel, because he hath glorified thee. The intent, the sons of the strangers shall build up thy walls, and thy kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, that's the curses, but in my favor have I mercy on thee. So notice, last night we was reading, I told you there's nothing new under the sun. Last night we was reading, wow, Daniel 9:25, the Most High made a point to put in there. He talked about the Messiah, but he also said, and that wall shall be rebuilt. And we see that happened with Nehemiah. The wall was rebuilt. Well, here go another one. Same thing. Nothing new under the sun. 10. And thy sons of the strangers shall build up thy walls. See that? What wall? Same walls. Nebuchadnezzar tore them down. Then Antioch Epiphanes came and tore them down. They got to be rebuilt again. Nothing new under the sun. So he says, and the sons of the strangers shall build up thy walls, and the kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor I shall have mercy upon thee. So during the time of Nehemiah, after Nebuchadnezzar tore down the walls of Jerusalem, we came back and rebuilt them. But this time, strangers gonna rebuild them, and we're not gonna come together till the time appointed for us to come together. He controlling everything. He controlling it all. Any comments? Okay. Anybody got anything else? Questions, comments?
Yes, sir, Brother Leonard. I was going to ask, and is that you said when we leave here? I kind of cut out a little bit. Okay.
Yeah. We gotta leave here. We gotta leave here before we come together.
Okay.
And so the thing about that is, was we united when we left Egypt? When you read the story in Exodus, we wasn't united, was it?
No, sir.
Okay, so nothing new. Like I said, ain't nothing new under the sun.
Right. I see.
Okay. Whatever you see happening in Israel and Babylon, the same thing get ready to happen again. Right. Okay. So I'm gonna play this right here. It's got to do with reparations, but I just want to play it. Then I got another little 2-minute video to counter.
Have money for reparations. We need a vote. We need a study. We need a committee. But there simply isn't money for our reparations.
This is insult.
The Black Channel is live. Unapologetic, unadulterated, and absolutely uncompromising. Greetings, brothers and sisters from around the world, and welcome back to the home, the haven, the stronghold, and the everlasting superfortress of intelligent Black thought. We are the Black Media, and this is the Black Channel, and I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the voice of Black America, the Black Authority, broadcasting to you live from the only historically Black college university of higher education and learning in the cosmos. You are, of course, welcome to join us. And join us you shall, because on tonight's program here, folks, remember, we don't have money for reparations. That's the part I need you to understand. I need you to accept that part. I need you to understand
that part, so that when other people attempt to talk sense to us and remind us and tell us about what we can't have, that we understand why it is we cannot have that. Other folks giving you unrealistic, money doesn't grow on trees. Look, man, look, it would bankrupt the country. You need to understand that it would bankrupt the country. You can't just jump up and tell the government to cut you a check for $100 billion. Don't work that way. You can't just expect them to just hop up out of nowhere. Well, we have to have rigorous debate, plebiscites, and committees convened. Don't you understand? That's the way that has to work. You can't just jump up out of nowhere and here we go. So for those of you who may have been living under a rock, Jim Crow Joe Biden came out and was telling everyone that we need to support his newest. We say newest because, boy, I'm telling you, there's this fella here, boy, he's out there, but he sure as hell looks like he doesn't know where the hell he is. But he didn't know what to ask for. So for those of you who may have missed it there in the Middle East, the Palestinians and the Israelis are at it again. Some the Palestinians are showing the world that everybody ain't like black folk have been in America. They're showing the world that part. They're showing the world that not everybody's just going to sit back and negotiate and take an integration bill. There's some folks out there who are like, yeah, we're doing something different. We're doing something different. So Jim Crow Joe Biden decided this week that in light of that, something's got to be done. So now he took to the airwaves to tell the American people that billions of dollars for Ukraine is no longer enough. We now got to have billions of dollars for other people too.
I know these conflicts can seem far away. It's natural to ask, why does this matter to America? So let me share with you why making sure Israel and Ukraine succeed is vital for America's national security. History has taught us that when terrorists don't pay a price for their terror, when dictators don't pay a price for their aggression, they cause more chaos and death and more destruction. They keep going, and the cost and the threats to America and the world keep rising. So if we don't stop Putin's appetite for power and control in Ukraine, he won't limit himself just to Ukraine. Putin's already threatened to remind Poland that their Western land was a gift from Russia. One of his top advisors, a former president of Russia, has called Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania Russia's Baltic provinces.
Okay, let me go ahead and address that real quickly.
Yeah,
for those of you who
that?
know your history,
Come on.
If you even understand, if you even understand about the map, that's the first thing. If you even understand about the map and how that's laid out, there's a reason why Russia would be saying things like that. There's a reason why Russia would be saying things like that. Because that means something to them there, because they have a history of that. That's the whole thing you need to understand. They have a history of that. Not just out of nowhere. They have a history of that. Let me go ahead and show you something real quickly here. Hopefully this will go ahead and help clarify that for you here. And I don't want everything to become a geography study or anything like that. I don't want that necessarily to happen. But there is something in particular I do want you all to understand and see here. Okay, this thing stops jumping up and making a mess over here. Wait, this thing stop playing around. So that folks understand exactly what that is, I want you to see what it is on the map so you can see it for yourselves. I want you to see it on the map for yourselves. Who should you listen to in this regard? This is a map. For those of you whose schools have not served you very well because Ron DeSantis is worried about, the 3 R's, reading, writing, and woke. This is a map showing you where Russia is, showing you where Ukraine is,
and showing you where Poland is. Now, if you don't know about the World War I and World War II, Poland was basically the bridge that brought in the Germans.
Right.
And all the other folks who don't like them. Poland is where they came in from. Poland was what they used. That's why Poland has always been in dispute and has always been a bone of contention. Of course, Russia wants to control Poland because the last 2 world wars, that was where they were made vulnerable from. So when you hear them keep bringing it up, it's like, yeah, by the way, about Poland there, when you look on the other side of Poland, oh boy, there's Nazi Germany. So when Jim Crow Joe Biden tries to tell you about they want to claim Poland, and they don't want folks coming across there anymore. Yeah, we don't want that happening. Just thought I would clear it up for you.
Don't limit himself just to Ukraine. Putin's already threatened to remind Poland that their Western land was a gift from Russia. One of his top advisors, a former president of Russia, has called Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania Russia's Baltic provinces. These are all NATO allies. For 75 years, NATO has kept peace in Europe and has been the cornerstone of American security.
Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland. Folks, take a look at the map here. So he's saying that these are U.S. allies, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland. So in other words, Russia is surrounded by NATO allies. Not NATO allies 1,000 miles away, NATO allies on the other side of the street. So I wanted you all to take a look at the map. So when you hear Jim Crow Joe Biden telling you this history story and naming these places, I just wanted to show you, by the way, that's where the Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, yeah, that's where they are. There's Russia right here, and right across the street is the folks he just named. And he just said, "What? We've been keeping peace over there." You mean with the guys who are right across the street from him? You mean with them? Yes, why would they possibly be nervous about this? Why would this possibly make them nervous? You know, the peaceful United States that has spent the last 20 years murdering and knocking off gangster style anybody and everybody they don't like in the Middle East, in Africa, in South America, in Southern Asia. The United States has been regime changing now since the end of World War II.
Okay. Any comments on that? You want to watch it? We gave reparation money to Ukraine and Israel. You want to read? So, any comment? You counter with this right here, then we go into the lesson. It's an insult.
In the city of Kherson, routing and driving out Russian troops. But this morning, the victors are standing on bread lines for handouts. In Kherson's main square, word of mouth spread quickly that food is available while it lasts. This is the harsh reality after the elation of victory. Ukrainians can't afford reconstruction, especially now during the war. But now, efforts are underway to get Russia to pay for the damage it caused. A contentious vote at the UN held Russia responsible for damage and deaths in Ukraine and called for an international mechanism to be established for the payment of reparations.
Accounts of atrocities committed by Russians in the occupied territories: murder, rape, torture, forced deportation, looting. They all speak for themselves. It is time to hold Russia accountable.
Some U.S. officials have said seized Russian funds and assets, including yachts from oligarchs allegedly tied to the Kremlin, should go to Ukraine. Russian officials said the UN vote has no legal basis. China voted against it. President Zelensky accused Russia of deliberately destroying Ukraine's infrastructure and said,
okay, so all the atrocities they just mentioned, if I'm not mistaken, didn't all that happen to us? Okay. Any comments? Okay. With that being said, I was gonna go into, like I said, I'm picking up from last night. Finished reading Nehemiah. Just gonna continue on from last night. So I'm in the book of Nehemiah, and I think I stopped at chapter 7. Okay. So says chapter 7, Nehemiah appoints rulers for Jerusalem. Now it came to pass when the wall was built, and I had set up the doors, and the porters and the singers and the Levites were appointed. All this got to happen when we go back. Same thing. That I gave my brother Heman and Heman, the rulers of the palace, charge over Jerusalem. And he was a faithful man and feared God above many. And I said unto them, let not the gates of Jerusalem be open until the sun be hot. And while they stand by, let them shut the doors and bar them and appoint watchers of the inhabitants of Jerusalem, everyone in his watch, and everyone to be over against his house. Now the city was large and great, but the people were few therein, and the houses were not building. Okay, so like I said, go back to what I read when I was telling you how to each one of these people property was adjoined each one of them, and that's what the wall. That's how the wall was constructed. Each person had a certain part of the wall they had to maintain that was connected to their property. And so we notice right here, Nehemiah and this group that he had with him, they rebuilt the wall, but the house is not there. That's what it just tells you. It says 4. The city was large and great, but the people were few therein, and the houses were not built. See that? So anyway, a lot of people skip over this, but this is the list of the exiles. It says, and my God put in my heart to gather together the nobles and the rulers and the people, that they might be reckoned by genealogy. See that? DNA. And I found just the same thing got to happen, like I said. And I found a register of the genealogy of them which came up at the first, and found written therein, these are the children of the province that went up out of this captivity, of those that had been carried away, who Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, had carried away, and came again to Jerusalem, to Judah, everyone unto his city. So let's look at this, right? Same thing I said, get ready to happen. So we go back to Jeremiah 24 and 23. We got righteous men, righteous people. Like us, back to these houses right here. You got people, families that never they was attached to the Most High's commandments and His laws and Him. They was connected at the hip. They've been with Him from father, grandfather, way on down. But when Israel, because of the sin of those wicked figs, the whole nation had to be chastised. So He told us in Jeremiah 24 that it's some righteous figs there. And He said, I'm going to have Nebuchadnezzar take you to Babylon for your good, to preserve them. The righteous fig. Same thing over here, with same thing right now. So look what verse 5 say. And my God, the Lord of hosts, put into my heart to gather together the nobles and the rulers and the people, that they might be reckoned by genealogy. Here we go. And I found a register of the genealogy of them which came up at the first, and found written down. These are children that was Nebuchadnezzar took away. In verse 6, I'll explain it. These are the children of the providence that went up out of the captivity, righteous feed, of those that have been carried away, whom Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, had carried away, and came again to Jerusalem and to Judah, everyone according to his city. So let's look at that. You know, let's look at it. I'm in Jeremiah. Okay, let's make it plain. So I'm in 24. Said, I'm in 24 verse 1. The Lord God showed me, and behold, 2 baskets of figs were set before the temple of the Lord. After that, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, had carried away captive Jeconiah, the son of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, princes of Judah, with the carpenters, the smiths from Jerusalem, and had brought them to Babylon. 1 basket had very good figs, even like the figs that are first ripe, and the other basket had very naughty figs, which could not be eaten. They were so bad. Then said the Lord unto me, what seest thou, Jeremiah? And I said, figs that are good figs, very good, and evil figs, very evil. They cannot be eaten. They are so evil. Again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, thus said the Lord God. So this ain't Jesus talking. It ain't Yahweh, it's the Lord of hosts. Thus said the Lord, the God of Israel, like these good figs, so will I acknowledge them that are carried away to captivity to Judah. Captive of Judah, whom I have sent out of this place into the land of the Chaldeans for their good. So that's all I gotta read. So then we see right here, now he's bringing them back. They righteous. The wicked figs stayed in Babylon, stayed there. Let me finish reading. Yeah, let me finish reading. So look what happened to the righteous fig. Tripping, man. Okay, 24 says, for I will set my eyes upon them for good, and I will bring them again to this land, and I will build them and not pull them down, and I will plant them and not pluck them up. These are righteous figs. 7, and I will give them a heart to know me. See that? And that's what happened to us. 44, 1 through 5. We pour the spirit out on us. It's the spirit on the righteous fig. You know, not the nut bucket. So it says, and I will give them a heart to know me, that I am the Lord, and they shall be my people, and I will be their God, and they shall return unto me. See that? Return unto me with their whole heart. And as the evil fig, which cannot be eaten, they are so evil, surely thus saith the Lord. So will I give Zedekiah, king of Judah, and his princes, and the residue of Jerusalem. They're still in Jerusalem. They ain't go to Babylon. That remain in this land, and them that dwell in the land of Egypt. And I will deliver them to be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth for their hurt, to be a reproach, a proverb, a taunt, a curse, in all the places whither thou shalt drive them. And I will send the sword, famine, pestilence among them, till they be consumed from off the land that I gave unto them and to their fathers. So you say, what you talking about? This is what I mean about tracking the Most High, tracking the Lord of hosts. He got characteristics. So look what Lot. What's the difference in this right here and Lot and Abraham? He sent Abraham in one direction, and Lot ended up in Sodom and Gomorrah. Ain't no different right here. I mean, it ain't gonna change what's getting ready to happen. It ain't shit nobody can do about it. Okay, so it says, I was reading verse back in Nehemiah chapter 7. These are the children of the providence that when I read that verse 7, who came with Zerubbabel. There we go. See, this is why Zerubbabel is so important. This the Messiah. So let's look at it. Verse 6 says, these are the children of the providence that went up out of the captivity. Where they at? They in Babylon. Where they going? Back to Jerusalem, right? We just saw yesterday that Nehemiah was on a beast. And like I said, I don't think he said beast.
He was on a donkey, a mule. Same way, same person they got, same type of animal they got JC on. Coming in on Palm Sunday. So they got to get from Babylon back to Jerusalem on an ass. So verse 7, who came with Zerubbabel? He the king. This is the Messiah. So he had to come from Babylon and come back to Jerusalem on an ass. So when you go to Zechariah, Zechariah with him. Right? So let's look at it. Zechariah and Haggai is with him when they left Babylon. So let's look at it. So if he was with Zechariah, Zechariah got a book. Let's look at it. He's one of the minor prophets. So we go to Zechariah chapter 9, right? See that? So it says in verse 9, rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O daughter of Jerusalem. Behold, thy king, Zerubbabel, cometh unto thee. Coming from where? From Babylon. What we just read in Nehemiah, right? He is just and having salvation, lowly, riding upon an ass. They go to donkey. And upon the coat of an ass. Then 10, and I will cut off the chariot from Ephraim and the horse from Jerusalem, and the battle bow shall be cut off, and he shall speak peace unto the heathen, and his dominion shall be from sea even unto sea, and from river even unto the river. That's Zerubbabel. JC, Jesus ain't with Zechariah and Haggai. He ain't nowhere around. It's Zerubbabel that's with him. Coming from Babylon back to Jerusalem. And he's coming. Lowly, riding upon an ass, the coat of an ass. Come on. So anyway, we see in Nehemiah 7, verse 7, who came with Zerubbabel? That's the Messiah. And Josiah, Nehemiah. See that? Azarah. So we read over this. With all these, if you keep reading that, which I'm not going to do, you start seeing that these prophets, these minor prophets, right in there with him. All these so-called minor prophets. That's how I know that's who talking to us. Jeremiah and them ain't talking to us. They're talking to the captives, the people at that time that was getting ready to go, that was in Jerusalem, was getting ready to go to Babylon. And the wicked field is getting ready to be decimated. They ain't talking to us. So anyway, I'm going to pick it up in 61. And these were they which went up. See that? These are they which went up also from Tikma, Tisha, Kara. These are all the other countries around. Like I said, but you have to understand, just like we scattered all over the place now, they were scattered all over the place then. When he brought Judah, which is who was in Babylon, Judah and Levi, when he brought them out, then all these other people started coming. He put the spirit on them too. They started coming back, like we just read in Isaiah chapter 60. So then 62, the children of Dinah, the children of Toba, the children of Nekoda, 640 and 2, and of the priests, the children of how about the children of Kuch, the children of Borzella, which took one of the daughters of Borzella, the Gadite to wife, and was called after their name. These sought their registry among those that were reckoned by genealogy, but it was not found. Therefore, were they as polluted, but from the priesthood. And the Tishite said unto them that they should not eat of the most high holy things till there stood up a priest with the Urim and the Thummim. And the whole congregation together was 303 score. Beside their manservants and their maidservants, of whom
there were 7,337, and they had 245 singing men and singing women. These horses, they're horses, 736. They're mules, 245. They're camels, for 435. So I'm not gonna read that, but like I said before, do the comparison and contrast. They had flocks and herds when they left out of Egypt. We got flocks and herds right here. We just read in Isaiah chapter 6, sons and daughters gonna come from afar, and when they get there, they're gonna have the flocks and herds and all that. Ain't nothing new under the sun. But the story they done told us, JC done stop the sacrifice. Okay? So anyway, it says, verse 71, and some of the chiefs of the fathers gave to the treasury of the work of 20,000 drums of gold and 2,200 pounds of silver, and that which the rest of the people gave with 20,000 drums of gold and 200 pounds of silver, 7 priest garments. So the priests and the Levites and the porters and the singers and some of the people and the Neathim and all Israel that dwelled in their cities. And when the 7th month came, the children of Israel were in their cities. So right here, like I was saying before, where they get all this gold from that they donate to the temple. Cyrus brought it out. Most I put it on Cyrus' mind, he brought it out and gave it to him. That's what I say. He ain't giving them all that just for GP. We see what they're doing with it. It's a reason for it. Same thing was getting ready to happen. So, chapter 8, Ezra reads and explains the law. This is major too. Everybody looking over this. It says, all the people gathered themselves together as one man in the streets that was before the water gate, and they spake unto Ezra the scribe to bring the book of the law of Moses, which the Lord had commanded Israel. So back to what we was talking about earlier. See, they been brought back. They left Babylon. Now they back in the land of Jerusalem. Now they came together. Just like we just read in Isaiah 60. All the people gathered themselves together as one man in the streets that was before the water gate, and they spoke unto Ezra, the scribe, to bring the book of the law of Moses, which the Lord had commanded them. So they own all in concert. So when we get back, the remnant, they're going to be all in one concert. Where the book of the law of Moses is. Damn all the other stuff, the New Testament and all that. Where the book of the law of Moses at? Bring it out. So verse 2, and Ezra, the priest, brought the law before the congregation, both of the men and the women, and all that could hear with understanding upon the first day of the 7th month. So read that again. And Ezra, the priest, brought the law before the congregation, both of men and women, and and those that could hear. So who is that? Them the ones Most High allowed, gave them the mind and the countenance to hear. Upon the first day of the 7th month, and he read therein before the streets that they were before the water gate from morning until midday, before the men and the women and those that could understand. And the ears of all the people were attended unto the book of the law. And Ezra, the scribe, stood upon the pulpit of wood, which they had made for the purpose. And besides him stood, here we go, it's the arm. It's the arm of the Lord, Isaiah 53, verse 1. To whom is the arm of the Lord revealed? And Ezra, the scribe, stood up at the pulpit of wood, which they had made for that purpose. And beside him, right, stood all these Levites, Aaron's seed and the Levites. I can't say these names, so I'm not going to try to say them, but we got all these names. All these is genealogy. Genealogy. Okay, they ain't got no Edomite or no Chinese in their DNA. Okay, so it said 5, and Ezra opened the book in the sight of all the men, for he was above all the people. And when he opened it, all the people stood up. And Ezra blessed the Lord and the great God. And all the people answered, Amen, Amen, with a lifting up of their hands. And they bowed their heads and worshiped the Lord with their faces to the ground. And Joshua, see that? Just read that. 6. Ezra blessed the Lord, the great God, and all the people answered, Amen, Amen, with lifting up their hands, and they bowed their heads and worship. See, that's how you worship. Getting down, bowing down. But when you praising, and when you praying, you standing with your hands stretched out toward heaven, like the Lord of hosts did in Daniel chapter 12 and in Deuteronomy chapter 32. Also, Joshua, Banner, and Sherebut, and Jamin, and I can't say all these names, and the Levites. See that? Just the arm. And the Levite called the people to understand the law. And the people stood in their place. So I'm going to read that again. We see over here, verse 4, all these men stood up. Then we see right here, all these Levites, all these men stand up. So it says, I don't see Tanya or Rita. I don't see none of them. So he says, and caused the people to understand the law. And the people stood up in their place. So they read in the book, in the law of God distinctly, and gave the sense and caused them to understand the reading. And Nehemiah, which is the Tishite, that word is just like governor. You can go look it up. And Ezra, the priest, the scribe, and the Levites that taught the people, said unto the people, this day is holy unto the Lord your God. Mourn not, nor weep, for all the people wept when they heard the words of the law. Then he said unto them, go your way, eat the fat. Come on, eat the fat, drink the sweet, and send portions to them from whom nothing is prepared. For this day is holy unto our Lord. Neither be ye sorry, for the joy of the Lord is your strength. So the Levites stilled all the people, saying, hold your peace, for the day is holy, neither be ye grieved. And all the people went their way to eat and to drink and to send portions and to make great merry, because they had understood the words that were declared unto them. 12. And all the people went their way to eat and to drink and to send portions and to make great merry, because they had understood the words that were declared unto them. Yeah, that's being left out. So 13 says, and on the second day were gathered together the chief of the fathers of all the people, the priests, the Levites, it's the home unto Ezra the scribe, even to understand the words of the law. And they found written in the law, which the Lord had commanded by Moses, that the children of Israel should dwell in booths in the feast of the 7th month, and they that should publish and proclaim it all their cities and in all Jerusalem, saying, go forth unto the mount and fetch olive branches and pine branches and myrtle branches and palm branches and branches of thick trees to make booths, as it is written. So here we go. This is where they pulled this right here. Got JC coming on Palm Sunday. So 16. So the people went forth and brought them and made themselves booths, everyone upon the roof of his house, and in their courts, and in the courts of the house of God, and in the streets of the water gate, and in the streets of the gates of Ephraim, and all the congregation of them that were come again out of the captivity made booths, and understood the booths. And for since the days of Joshua the son of Nun, Jeshua son of Nun, unto that day had not the children of Israel done so. and there was very great gladness. Also, day by day, from the first day until the last day, he read in the book of the law of God, and they kept the feast 7 days. And on the 8th day was a solemn assembly according unto the manner. So I want to read something else too. Like I said, this is going right over our head. So you just got this big old lie going on about the 10 tribes they lost, right? So we see right here, this Nehemiah, they already done left Babylon. They done left the captivity. Well, look at right here, verse 17. 16. So the people went forth, brought them, and made themselves booths, right? Everyone upon the roof of his house, and in their courts, and in the courts of their house of God, and in the streets of the water gate, and in the streets of the gates of Ephraim. There go Ephraim right there. See that? Okay. Chapter 9. So it says, the people fast and repent. Now, in the 20th and 4th day of this month, the children of Israel were assembled with fasting and with sackcloth and with and earth upon them. And the seed of Israel separated themselves from the strangers and stood and confessed their sins and the iniquities of their fathers. So check this out. You got to figure this. Let this ferment. Okay. So he said 2. And the seed of Israel separated themselves from the strangers. So genealogy. It's all about genealogy. The seed of Israel separated themselves from the strangers and stood and confessed their sins and the iniquity of their fathers. And they stood up in their place and they read in the book of the law, and the Lord their God, 1/4 part of the day, and another 4 part they confessed and worshiped the Lord their God. Then stood up upon the stairs the Levites. There they go again. Joshua, Bena, Kimball, I'm saying, see all that, and cried with a loud voice unto the Lord their God. Then the Levites, the same ones, said, stand up and bless the Lord your God forever and ever, and bless thy glorious name, which is exalted above all blessings and praise. Thou, even thou, art the Lord alone. Thou hast made heaven and the heavens of heaven, and all their hosts, and the earth, and all things that are therein, the seas, and all that is therein, and thou preservest them all, and the host of heaven worshipeth thee. Thou art the Lord, the God, who did choose Abraham, and brought him forth out of Ur of the Chaldeans, and gave him the name Abraham, and founded his heart faithful before thee, and made it a covenant with him to give the land of Canaan, of the land of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, Perizzites, the Jebusites, the Gershites, to give it, I say, to his seed, and has performed thy words, and thou art righteous, and didst see the affliction of our forefathers in Egypt, and heard their cry by the Red Sea, and showed signs and wonders upon Pharaoh and on all his servants and on all the people of his land. For thou knowest that they dealt proudly against them. So didst thou get thee a name as it is this day. And thou didst divide the sea before them, so that they went through the midst of the sea on dry land, and their persecutors thou threw into the deep as a stone into the mighty waters. Moreover, thou leddest them in the day by a cloud, and a pillar in the night by a pillar of fire, and gave them light in the way wherein they should go. Thou camest down also upon Mount Sinai, and spakest with them from heaven, and gavest them right judgments and true laws, and good statutes and commandments, and maketh known unto them thy holy Sabbath, and commanded them precepts and statutes and laws by the hand of Moses thy servant, and gave them bread from heaven for their hunger, and brought forth water for them out of a rock for their thirst, and proved them that they should go in to possess the land which thou hast sworn to give them. But they and our fathers dealt proudly and hardened their necks, and hearkened not to thy commandments, and refused to obey. Neither were mindful of the wonders that thou didst among them, but hardened their necks, and their rebellion appointed a captain to return to their bondage. But thou art a God ready to pardon, gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and great in kindness, and forsaketh them not. Yea, when they had made them molten calves, and said, This is the God that brought us up out of Egypt, and had wrought great provocations, yet thou in thy manifold mercies forsooketh them not in the wilderness, and the pillar of a cloud departed not from them by day to lead them in the way, neither the pillar of fire by night to show them light and the way wherein they should go. Thou gavest also thy good spirit to instruct them, and withheld not thy manna from their mouths, and gavest them water for their thirst. Yea, 40 years didst thou sustain them in the wilderness, so that they lack nothing. Their clothes wax not old, and their feet swelleth not. Moreover, thou gavest them kingdoms and nations, and didst divide them in corners, so they possessed the land of Sion, and the land of king of Heshbon, and the land of king of Bashan. So right here, 22, these are all Amorites. So go back to Genesis chapter 15. These are Amorites right here. You got folks waiting on the Amorites for 400 years. So it says, so the children went in and possessed the land, and thou subdued it before them, the inhabitants of the land. The Canaanites gave them into their hands with their kings and the people of the land, that they might do with them as they would. And they took strong cities and fat land, and possessed houses full of all goods, wells digged, vineyards and olive yards, and fruit trees in abundance. So they did not eat. And were filled, and became fat, and delighted themselves in the great goodness. Nevertheless, they were disobedient, and rebelled against thee, and cast thy way behind their backs, and slew the prophets, which testified against them, to turn them to thee, and they wrought great provocation. Therefore thou delivered them in the hands of their enemies, who vexed them, and in the time of their trouble, when they cried unto thee, thou heardest them from heaven, and according to thy manifold mercies, thou gavest them saviors, to save them out of the hands of their enemies. But after they had rest, they did evil again before thee. Therefore lettest thou them in the hands of their enemies, so that they had the dominion over them. Yet when they returned and cried unto thee, thou heardest them from heaven, and many times didst thou deliver them according to thy mercies, and testified against them, that thou mightest bring them again unto the law. Yet they dealt proudly, and hearkened not unto thy commandments, but sinned against thy judgments, which is, if a man do, he shall live in them, and withdrew the shoulder, and hardened their necks, and would not hear. Yet many years didst thou forbear them, and testify against them by thy spirit in thy prophets. Yet would they not give ear. Therefore gavest thou them into the hands of the people of the land. Nevertheless, for thy great mercy's sake, thou didst not utterly consume them, nor forsake them, for thou art gracious and merciful God. Now therefore our God, the great, the mighty, and the terrible God, who keepeth covenant and mercy. Okay? Let not all the trouble seem little before thee, that thou have come upon us, on our kings and on our princes, on our priests and on our prophets and on our fathers and on all thy people since the time of the kings of Assyria unto this day. Howbeit thou art just in all that is brought upon us, for thou hast done right, but we have done wickedly. So here we go again. I'm gonna keep on beating the drum on that. The 10 tribes, right? Verse 32. Now therefore our God, the great, the mighty, and the terrible God, who keepeth covenant, right, and mercy, let not all the trouble seem little before thee, that thou have come upon us, on our kings. Look at this, on our kings, on our princes, and on our priests, and on our prophets, and on our fathers, and on all our people, since the time of the kings of Assyria unto this day. See that? So why would he bring up the king of Assyria when he dealing with the 10 tribes if Ephraim ain't there? He there. Okay? So anyway, 34. Neither have our kings or our princes or our priests nor our fathers kept thy law, nor hearken unto thy commandments and thy testimony, wherewith thou didst testify against them. For they have not served thee in their kingdom and in thy great goodness that thou gavest them, and in the large and fat land which thou gavest before them, neither turn thou from their wicked works. Behold, we are servants this day, and for the land that thou gavest unto our fathers to eat the fruit thereof and the good thereof, behold, we are servants in it, and it yielded much increase unto the kings whom thou hast set over us because of our sins. Also, they have dominion over our bodies and over our cattle at our pleasure, and we are in great distress. And because of all this, we make a sure covenant and write it, and our princes, the Levites, the priests, sealed unto it. Okay. We got 14 chapters. I'm gonna read 10. Okay. These are who sealed the covenant. So we see in verse 38, back to the arm of the Lord, right? 38. And because of all this, we make a sure covenant and we write it, and our princes, the Levites, the priests, sealed it unto it. Then you go into chapter 10. These who sealed the covenant. Now those that sealed were Nehemiah, the Tishbite, whatever that is, the son of Hilkiah, and Zedekiah. List all these names. So this the arm, like I said, we reading over. He goes all the way down to 27. Then 28 says, the rest of the people, the priests, the Levites, the porters, the singers, the Nielsen, and all they that had separated themselves from the people of the lands unto the law of God, their wives, their sons, and their daughters, everyone having knowledge and having understanding. They clave to their burden, their nobles, and entered into a curse and into an oath to walk in God's law, which was given by Moses, the servant of God, and to observe and do all commandments of the Lord our God and his judgments and his statutes. So here we go right here. This is a doozy right here. We see the drama going on now with the man and the woman, and the knowledge, the teaching, and all this, and the learning and all that, and they got it all twisted up, got it jacked up, upside down, right? So 28 says, and the rest of all the people. So we just read all the Levites and the elders and all that sealed it. There's not one female in there. So we get to 28, and the rest of the people. See that? The rest of the people, the priests, the Levites, the porters, the singers, the Neathan, and all they that had separated them from the people of the land unto the law of God. Here you go. Their wives, see that? They go to women. their sons, their daughters, they go to women, everyone having knowledge and having understanding. So they got knowledge. They got knowledge, but they're not up there with these Levites. See that? They got knowledge. This the order right here. So we'll go another verse while we're here. I think it's Zechariah. Let me see right quick. Zechariah. So it's not nothing bad. That'll go to order right there. There's nothing bad about that. There's nothing grievous about that. So it says, Zechariah, he says, chapter 3. So it says, this is the Lord of hosts talking to Joshua, the high priest, when they came out of Babylon. He says, and the angel of the Lord, verse 6, 3 and 6. The angel of the Lord protested unto Joshua, saying, check it out. Thus said the Lord of hosts, if thou wilt walk in my ways, talking to the high priest, if thou wilt walk in my ways, and if thou wilt keep my charge, then thou shalt also judge my house, and shall also keep my courts, and I will give thee places to walk among these that stand by. Who are these? Oh yeah. All these men right here. Just Nehemiah, they just seal the covenant. Say, and walk among these that stand by. Here now, O Joshua, check it out. The high priest, thou and thy fellows that sit before thee, for they are men. Wonder that. For behold, I will bring forth my servants, the prophet, the branch. So like I said, we see over here in Nehemiah 10, 28 and 29, we see the order according to knowledge. And it ain't grievous. I'll read it again. And the rest of the people, the priests, the Levites, the porters, the singers, the nearest, and all they that will separate themselves from the people of the land unto the law of God, their wives, their sons, and their daughters, everyone having knowledge and having understanding. See that? They got understanding, they got knowledge, but they not over here with this arm of the Lord, with these Levites and these priests. See that? And then 29. They cleave. See that? All these wives, the sons and the daughters, everyone having knowledge and having understanding. They cleave to their brethren, their nobles, and even unto a curse, and into the oath, and to the walking in God's law, which was given by Moses, the servant of God, and to observe and to do all the commandments of the Lord our God, and his judgments and his statutes, and that we may not give our daughters unto the people of the land, nor take their daughters as for our sons. And if the people of the land bring ware or any victuals, on the Sabbath day to sell, that we would not buy it of them on the Sabbath or on the holy day, and that we would leave the 7th year and the exaction of every debt. Exemption, I guess that's the word, exemption of every debt, right? Also, we made ordinances for us to charge ourselves yearly with the third part of the shekel for the service of the house of our God, for the shewbread, and for the continual meat offering, and for the continual burnt offerings of the Sabbath, and the new moons, for the set feasts, for the holy things, and for the sin offering, to make an atonement for Israel and for all of the house of God. Okay? And we cast the lots among the priests. Let's look at it. Here we go again. Okay? It says, and we cast lots among the priests and the Levites and the people for the wood offering, to bring it into the house of our God after the houses of our fathers at the time appointed year by year, to burn upon the altar of the Lord our God, as it is written in the law, and to bring the first fruit of the ground, and the first fruit of all the fruit of all trees year by year, into the house of the Lord. Also the firstborn of our sons and of our cattle, as it is written in the law, and the firstling of our herds and of our flock, to bring to the house of God unto the priests that minister in the house of our God, and where we should bring the first fruits of our dough and our offerings, and the fruit of all manner of trees, of wine and of oil unto the priests, to the chambers of the house of God, and the tent of our ground unto the Levites, that the same Levite might have the tithe in all the cities of our tillage. And the priests, the sons of Aaron, shall be with the Levites when the Levites take tithes, and the Levites shall bring up the tithe of the tithe unto the house of our God, to the chambers in the treasure house. For the children of Israel and the children of Levi shall bring the offering of the corn and of the new wine and of the oil unto the chambers, where are the vessels of the sanctuary, and the priests that minister, and the porters and the singers, and we will not forsake the house of our God. Any comments or questions? Everybody good?
Yes, shalom.
Okay.
I'm getting at peace with everything. So everything that is happening all over the world, anything that has happened to a nation of people have already happened to us. And you said this before, that has nothing to do with us, but it's like everybody who touched us for wrong, that same thing you gave is coming back.
Exactly. Right. Just like spring, summer, winter, and fall. He set it in motion. It's continuous. You ain't got to watch over it. You sow something, you're going to reap it. Is there something?
Yes, sir. No, I'm good. We'll just continue on with Jeremiah.
Okay. You say that again?
I said I was good. I said we'll just continue on with Jeremiah. We talked about Zerubbabel, getting into Zerubbabel, and we'll get more into that because it's in Ezra, Chronicle, and Zechariah.
Right, exactly. And like I said, he goes under the radar because of the story that Daniel was prophesying about him, but he goes under the radar because he got you thinking it's Jesus. So nobody follows that story. They can't see that story in the scriptures because they got it. They didn't told you it's Jesus. But once the light shines on it, you can see who it is. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anybody else got anything? Okay. So nobody else have anything? We're gonna I'll see everybody tomorrow. I mean, I got the women's line tomorrow. The men can come in through Prophet of Awakening. Okay. And with that being said, I'm gonna say shalom, shalom, and another shalom. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Shalom,
Shalom.
shalom.
Okay.
Shalom, shalom, shalom.